All right, leveraging LinkedIn. So, what's interesting, right, when we start talking about either LinkedIn versus Facebook, LinkedIn is truly what Facebook looks like, but for professionals. I mean, they pretty much have adopted all the exact, same pieces as far as being able to connect with people. Right? We got video, we have emojis, we have the like button, and the hearts and everything. Like it's pretty much Facebook at this point, yet for professionals. And I think that what's important about LinkedIn is if you feed your LinkedIn profile, it's actually going to rank higher for you on SEO. And so I think that having a LinkedIn, at least for a virtual business card, is very important. You're going to go through, and when someone Googles your name, it's actually going to be one of the top searches that actually comes up. And so if they're looking for you, yeah, your Zillow profile might pop up. Maybe your realtor.com profile might pop up. Depending on how unique your name is, your Google My Business profile will pop up and your LinkedIn. Everything else is going to be underneath that. Like Facebook's going to be somewhere else, Instagram's going to be somewhere else, Twitter, your website. But LinkedIn's going to be one of the top searches. And so I think that we need to be pretty purposeful with it. And so the very first thing that we do when we start thinking about it is that we're going to make sure that the profile looks good. It makes a strong first impression, right? Like we're going to go through this, and you have to have your profile picture, your cover image, and your headline, right? Like that's first and foremost. Like those are the three things that we need to be looking at before we even play the game. I am a firm believer in that I want all my photos to be the same. Like I don't have my photo being one, my Instagram being another one, my Twitter being one, or X, my LinkedIn. Like they're all the same. It's the same photo because that's me. I don't want anyone to be confused when they land on a different profile of mine. I want them to know that that's my Instagram, that's my Facebook, that's my X, that's my LinkedIn. They're all the same photo. And they're also the photo that's in my email signature. Like, that you're talking to me because all the photos are the same. My cover images are actually all the same as well. Like, I'm not super stoked about the one that I've landed on, and yet it's the one that's created and it's the one that's out there. All of my social profiles have the exact same cover image. You're not getting extra points, right? Like they're not favoring one over the other one, but yet I want it to be fairly uniform all the way down to my bio. Like my bio and my short bios, right? Like my Facebook bio, my Instagram bio, my X bio. I did play around with my can't even think about my TikTok bio the other day, and I got grief because I told everyone I was so anti TikTok, and then I put one out, and people have been giving me grief for it. But yet they're all the same. Like I want them to be uniformed because that's going to be the first thing that people are going to see. And again, like it's going to rank higher, so we wanted to look through there. So you want to make sure it's a somewhat professional headshot, right? Like we're not doing the selfie. We're not doing any of that. Now, I'm not saying that you can't take the photo on your phone. You can absolutely do that, but get a selfie stick, get the button, the clicker, set it up, time it to where you can actually sit down, get the photo, have yourself in some kind of presentable space. Like, I'm not saying go out and spend money on this thing, but yet you want it clean. You don't want it looking like this, right? Like, you don't want the photo where it's coming down your arm or you're like looking up. Like, you don't want any of that. Have it looking like a clean photo and have it going through to again where it looks all the same. Your cover photo, right? You're going to go through if you have your logo, your team photo, the city skyline, right? Like you're going to have something that says real estate agent in this. And like I said, I like it uniformed. Then your headline, right? Clear, it's engaging, it's going to talk about where you do business, and it allows you up to 220 characters, where the rest of them are a lot shorter, right? We're talking like 50 to 80. This one's giving you 220. And so, what I also, when I'm playing with this, what I go through is I said that I like all the other ones to look the same. Well, in this one, I'm just feeding through ChatGPT, right? Like I'm going through, I'm putting my characters in, and then I'm saying, take this and turn it into my LinkedIn. Like I want them all to be a brand. Like, I think that's the biggest thing. You're your own brand. Yes, you're associated with Keller Williams, but at the end of the day, it's you. It's your brand. You are selling yourself. And so go out there, and that's how I would build this. And then make sure, right? I said my bonus tip that I have down here, make sure that your contact info is right. You guys would be surprised, dumbfounded almost with how many people went through and they set one of these up because someone told them to, and then they went to a different brokerage or they got into a different industry and all the information's wrong now. Like I I go on Facebooks of agents that are no longer with us and it still reads Keller Williams Avenues, which I'm pumped for, or it has their Keller Williams email addresses that are still associated with it. So go through and make sure that that information is correct, as well as that like there's no typos in it, right? Make sure you didn't screw up somewhere and that the information is clean because again, LinkedIn is one of the top places that people are actually going to come to through Google searches. Then we're going through, let's make sure that we're calling out our services, right? Like LinkedIn is going to be a place where, yes, job and company are important, but like you get to say what kind of professional you are, right? Like this is your professional network. This is what it's designed to do. So showcase it, right? Like go through, put your services, your skills, go get endorsements, right? Like what I would do is I'd probably start reaching out to some vendor partners and just request them, right? Join their communities, right? Like connect with them. And then after you connect with them, make sure that you endorse them and they're going to endorse you back. And it's going to level up your endorsements. It's going to say this is what you've been endorsed for by this person. So go through and start collecting endorsements, your work, your charities. I'll show you at the very end. I actually just took a screenshot of mine, but like I go through and anytime I do something new, I put it in there. Like I have DMAR director in there. I have the real estate school that's in there. I have that I am part of the International ALC, the International Association Leadership Council for all of Keller Williams. Like I'm a part of that. The team leader, real estate agent, right? Like I have all of that info in there. And then again, I utilized ChatGPT. I said, hey, this is what it is. Help me create the description to articulate that to the outside world, right? And put that information in there. Any awards, right? Like this is, I think of LinkedIn, at least this section is this is your resume, right? Like you're going through and you are building your resume. Like I look at this one section here as could I potentially download this and go walk into a listing or there's a board that I want to be a part of and just hand it over to them. And truly, this is where I build it. Like for the school, I'm through the Department of Secondary Schools through the state of Colorado, and they asked me for my credentials on why that I should be allowed to teach people and what makes me the have the ability to be a school instructor. And I literally go through my LinkedIn, and that's what I give to them. You're going to go through guys like this is what makes you trustworthy, relatable. Like you're going to put the stuff out. Yeah, Instagram, we're going to throw the dogs, we're going to throw the family, maybe we're at the local restaurant, like we're going to get brand. But yet this is somewhere where we're going to go through and we're going to say, hey, I'm relatable in the sense to this is what I do. I do real estate. These are the charities that I'm a part of. These are the things that I have going through. Like this is your social proof. And this is why you need to go get these recommendations as well. Also, make sure you're connecting with your past clients. Like they can put reviews on here. And my caveat to this, right? My asterisk would look like I'd probably pick where I want to gather reviews. Is it Google? And it's probably Google in all reality. Is it Facebook? Is it Yelp? Is it Bing? Don't do Bing. But like right where you're going to go through and you're going to source them from this one place. Like that's the big thing. I can tell you guys this. About 3, 4 years ago, Brittany Heckenberg, she made it her mission to where anyone she was in relationship with, she just sent them an email and she said, hey, I appreciate being in relationship with you. And I can't remember the email, I can go find it. But through the content, it went through all this information, and then what it did was it had the link to um, her Google. And so then you would just click it, and that's where she was asking for her 5-star review. And so I would say go through and pick this. If this is the one that you want to gather that social proof from, that's where I'd kind of lean into it. Then we got to look at just the content, right? I think that the content that we're putting on here, I think of this as like a secondary blog, right? When I'm thinking about LinkedIn, when we're going to go through, we have a secondary blog, but also what's important is video. Every platform that we are encountering right now, whether it is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, I don't know if Snapchat's really a thing anymore, LinkedIn, even X, right? They're all going through and they're rewarding people actually posting video. And the statistic right now is video is getting 5 times more engagement than text and 20 times more likely to be shared. We got to be thinking about this. This is huge, right? Like as we're going through and we're doing these different things, we need to make sure that we're posting video. And when we're going through and doing how to post, 31.5% more. So what does it look like to actually go through and partner some of these vendor reps of ours, whether we're going to a home inspection with them, we're doing something, right? How to win a bidding war, how to choose the right real estate agent, how to prepare your home for sale, how to downsize without losing your mind, right? How to time buying and selling simultaneously, how to buy your first invest, like, right? Like there's so many things that we can go through. And the other content that we should be doing is client stories, right? Like going through, and we don't need to drop their name, we don't need to drop their address, but we can go through and we need to tell the story. I think that one of the biggest issues that we run into as an industry, at least that I sit back and, chuckle a little bit when I see it, is that these agents go through and they post the the buyer and the seller, right? Whoever they have, and they're having their title sign that says just closed, and they're there. They're like, was this a client that I'm allowed to hug, or is this a client that I need to stand, kind of off to the side? And then they get the photo. The title company takes the photo for them, and then they post it on social media, and they're like, so happy for my clients, and then that's it. It's like, so what are we doing? Like, tell me a little bit about. Were they a veteran? Were you able to utilize a VA loan? Were you going through, was it first time home buyer and you were able to utilize some programs which actually saved them money? And what the process looked like, you went and you wrote a couple offers, you got this one accepted, multiple offer situation, how long were they on the market? Like, tell the story, because that's what relates to people. This is the big thing. Logic makes people think, emotion makes people act. And so let's get away from this. I keep thinking to myself, right? Um I just had a closing on Friday and the sign's still sitting in the back of my truck. And I'm like, man, I feel like I should do one of those obligatory, hey, this sign needs a new home. Reach out to me if you're looking to sell this year. And I'm like, gosh, that's so corny. And I wouldn't do that. But yeah, like that's our industry. Like so many people are doing this kind of stuff. Go after the trending topics, right? We've looked at Google, right? Google can let you know what's trending in the area. Go find the trending topics. Go find the new restaurants opening up. Go find the new things that are happening in our area and just write about them. Go get some photos. Like if you live there, you have some free time, go out there. Maybe you go record a video real quick. Hey, just want to show you the new site of insert restaurant here, insert store here. Just wanted you guys to know this is coming in. The projected opening start date is here, right? Let me know, right? And we go through and we just create this trending topics about our area. Polls, right? We can go through and we do polls. Maybe you are doing the new restaurant in town. Hey guys, who's excited for this new restaurant? Right? Again, you're taking your photo, maybe you're doing the video. to open up this summer. Lead magnets, right? Like when we think about these, we talk about MOFRs, make offer for immediate response. Like as we're going through, like what can we be given out? Like home staging checklist, buyer guides, market updates, right? Like what can we be putting out there to where people can either download it or it's something that they might be interested in. And it's already the content that you're handing out that you're already providing. It's nothing new, right? We're just saying like, hey, here it is. And again, with your hashtags, right? We need to have like 3 to 5 targeted hashtags that we're living in. And they got to be things that are actually like Googleable, right? Like we're not going to go put something crazy like Charles Coleman real estate in Colorado. Personally, no one's searching for that, right? Like no one's going to be looking for that. So make sure that it's something that people are actually searching because again, it's going to be getting pulled off of Google. It's going to get being pulled off of search topics. Don't make crazy hashtags, right? Colorado homes, first time home buyer, real estate tips. Like people are looking this kind of stuff up. This is the kind of hashtags we should be using. We also know that when we're going through, we got to stay consistent, right? You're a professional. Guess what? You have your real estate license. And there might be some imposter syndrome every once in a while, right? To where we're going through and we're saying, hey, I don't feel comfortable putting out this information when someone asks me a question, or I haven't been doing this long enough, or I'm not 100% sure. But here's the thing, you have more knowledge about real estate than the general public. You know more than they do. I don't care how long you've been in it. You went through real estate school, right? You've been a part of different organizations that are associated with real estate, right? So figure out what that looks like to establish your credibility and whatever creating your brand is. So when you're going through and you're making your posts, are you casual? Are you professional? Are you going to be using a lot of emojis because that's what you want to do? Are you using just short, brief bullet points? Like create the brand. And that's kind of what we want to stick with, right? Like that is how we're going to continue to build is through whatever that brand may look like. I noticed that I just lost my keynote. I'm going to pull it back up. Cool. Sorry about that, guys. So then we're going through, and that's what we want to do. We just want to make sure that that's how we are building this thing. So figure out what your tonality looks like. Again, if you want to use emojis, explanation points, right? We all know what Debbie's brand is. It's crazy. And it's capitalization in like the second letter, the fourth letter, the fifth, and the sixth, right? And it's funny because Elizabeth cracked the code the other day and she put it through Chat GPT and she said, write like Debbie. And she actually gave it some characteristics of how Debbie writes. And like it got pretty spot on. I just said go random and just throw it anywhere, and it looked all crazy. And then Elizabeth went through and she put through Chat GPT and she said, no, this is actually what her tonality really is, and it's emphasis on excitement words that might be inside of a word, and like it pulled it out, and that was pretty on point for that brand, right? Go through, do your visuals and your videos match the audience on who you're trying to send it to, and I think that's also really important. And I was thinking about this actually today. I was talking to my wife, or I was talking to Erin, and we were really just talking about just businesses and creating these businesses. And it really just made me start thinking about these creators on like Etsy, right? To where when you're creating on Etsy, you can't just create an Etsy store and just pray for people to land on it. Like you actually have to go do something else. And a lot of them are going through either YouTube or Instagram, and they're building these brands. And it's interesting because there's two different ways to do it, right? Like you have faceless, where no one sees you, or you have a brand where it's like a lifestyle brand and you're really selling yourself. But it's not even that you're selling yourself, you're selling to like people that look like you, sound like you, and can relate to you. And that's your avatar, right? Like you want to do business with people that are like you. And it's very interesting because I really just went through this whole conversation with my wife this morning. Like, this is what our breakfast conversation looked like. And we were really just talking about this, and my head has been spinning around it ever since. And that, I think, is truly where we go through and we look at it. And so, does your visuals and your videos represent who you are and who you're trying to attract? Because I get it. A lot of times we're like, well, I'll take anybody. If someone's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, like, I'm their dude. And at the end of the day, you're not, right? Like, there's going to be people that you don't want to do business with. There are. And I get it, right? You're like, no, I'll take 15K. Like, I'll take a commission check. And I just don't think that's real. I think that you want to actually do business with people that are actually fun to do business with, or else it makes it unenjoyable for everyone. So does your voice, your visual, your vibe doesn't match across your post? And I think this is important. Don't just post, you got to engage. All right. So when we're going through, right, this is half the strategy. And I think a big piece of this is you got to go back and forth. You can't just keep putting out content out there, because unless you're doing stuff that's super newsworthy, that's super viral, you actually have to create an audience of people that care about you. And so, just like any other social media platform, you actually have to go through and actually like, comment, share. You have to do all these different things if you want to stay top of mind. This is where I think it's interesting. So, what I did when I went and got purposeful about LinkedIn is this. I think one of the big things we have to keep in mind with LinkedIn is the people you're connected with. On LinkedIn, after you hit 500, it shows you how many people you actually have on LinkedIn as a group of people, but it doesn't show the outside world after you hit 500. So it just says 500 plus. So you're going through, you create your LinkedIn account. Your goal is to get to 500 connections. Now, here's the thing, don't go connecting with other real estate agents. And I'm going to say this lovingly, because who cares? Right? Like, who cares if you're connected with every real estate agent in Denver? Like, I promise you this, being connected with every real estate agent in Denver is not going to get you any more business. I would argue that connecting with real estate agents down in Colorado Springs is not going to get you any other business. Like, I would say that most of those agents are going to make the hour drive up here to do the sale. They're not going to refer it for the most part. What I would do is I go find people that touch the real estate space. I'd go hunting for lenders. I would be looking for home inspectors. I would be looking at photographers. I would be looking at anyone that's in the real estate space. That's who I would be connecting with. And I'd be forming those relationships with. And then when you post, they're going to be champion you. When they post, you want to champion them back, right? When you're going through this, all about visibility in the algorithm. And that's the only way you're going to stay top of mind on this thing. So, again, what I would do is go through, find those people when they're posting, just like Debbie said the other day, for anyone that's in team meeting, she said, don't do the two word post, right? Don't say awesome job, right? Like, you're not going to do anything like that. You want to be genuine. You want to take some time, a sentence or two, right? Go through it. And it says you want to go one step further, do it, send a DM, right? Like, this is your opportunity to also take some stuff offline. Yes, celebrate with them on their post. Hey, this looks awesome. Congratulations on that latest stage that you did. That house looks fantastic, right? Then jump in and just say, hey, just wanted to reach out to you and see what other projects you're working on. Would love to come take a look at them, right? And start getting into relationship with these people. That's also gonna give you some opportunities. Like, hey, do you mind if I take some photos or a video of what you're doing? Then you get to actually take that content, put it back on social media, all your different platforms, tag that person, say, hey, it was just with my buddy here at their latest project that they're staging. If you're needing any staging help, reach out. I got a contact for you, right? Like, you can do all those things. So we're going through, we want to be able to lead with the compliment, right? Not a, hey, I see that you're in the real estate space. I'm also in the real estate space. Wanted to see, maybe we can connect for coffee, right? Now go through and actually pour into them first. I like LinkedIn because again, like I'm not the person that is going to be going to a bunch of networking events. Honestly, that drains me. It does. Like I don't like to do it. I don't like to go out and be the person that's at the bar with a bunch of other networkers and, hand out business cards and do any of that. That's not me. It wears me out. And so when you're going through, LinkedIn is one of those places where, again, they're professionals, right? It says what they do, it says where they live, what space that they are in. And so you can connect from the keyboard. And then if it makes sense, we can go through and we can set up the coffee appointment. We can go through, we can go to an event with them. We can go check out their latest job site. Like we can do all those things more in a controlled manner on our time and not be forced to create this kind of small talk, if you will. Again, with the connecting with purpose, right? Like when we're going with the connecting in purpose, I already told you, like other real estate agents, yes, we could do that. I did put even locally, but I put that hesitantly, right? Like I think about this and I would actually aim for other markets and just be seeing kind of what they're posting in those other markets. And doesn't make sense for you to post in this market, right? Like we're not going to rip off. But if they're doing something and it's working for them, would it work for you? And so let's connect with agents in other states, right, that are doing different business in other areas. How can we create value, right? Like one of the things, like if you wanted to use LinkedIn to hunt, you could absolutely go after HR managers. What would it look like to go on Google and type in businesses moving into Colorado? Depending on the business and who they're going to be bringing in, some of them, yes, they might be hiring, but others of them might be actually bringing some bodies in to fill some positions. What does it look like to actually go connect with those HR managers? Connect with those HR managers, go put together your package for them, like what you would be willing to offer this company if you became their exclusive person. Put together that package, right? Maybe you'll offer X percentage of your compensation that you get on the buy side as incentives to help buy down their rates, right? And that you're only doing that for their people, right? So we can actually go through and we can create these different things for them. Obviously, we can swap referrals, we can do different things and build these professional relationships. We can also look for real estate investors, right? We can be looking for investors and kind of partner with them. Yes, they're already sliding into our text messages, right? Like I don't know what seminar these guys are going to where they're like, here's the thing, here's the list of every real estate agent, here's your text. All 100 of you should be sending the same text to every real estate agent because we all get that. And then like the next day we get the, hey, this is so and so, right? Like, are you still a real estate agent? Just circling back, like we all get those text messages. But yeah, can we go through, figure out who's doing some investment properties? Maybe we are being more purposeful about it. Maybe we are sending them CMAs. Maybe we are offering some of our services to them. Here's one of the things. Maybe you're interested in going after FSBOs. You're on for sale by owners. You're on the MLS. You're finding expired listings and you don't have their phone number. Maybe they're on the do not call list. Well, there's no such thing as the do not LinkedIn list, right? So you go through, you see who they are, right? You can pull all that information. It's on the tax assessor's office, which you all have access to through Realist. You go through, you pull up that information, you just see if you can find them on LinkedIn real quick. It says what city they live in. So you're like, okay, cool. This thing expired in Arvada. This person lives in Arvada. This is probably the same person. Hey, so and so, just noticed that you have this property that had just fallen off of the fresh listings. Wanted to see if you had any intent on relisting this home. Or, hey, FSBO, I saw that you had this listed on Zillow. Just wanted to see what the traction looked like. Wanted to see, what your time frame looked like. And once this home sells, where do you intend to move to? Take it one step further, right? You ask them where they're planning on moving to. Ask them this: once your home sells, which it will, great photos, by the way, with your iPhone. When your home sells, are you going to go down the FSBO process to actually purchase your next home? And they're like, what does that mean? Well, you listed your home as a FSBO without a real estate agent. Are you going to purchase a home without a real estate agent as well? Or will you be using an agent? And ask them that question, because guess what? Maybe they are going to be buying a home and they need a real estate agent to help them buy a home. And that's how you can help them. Oh, no, no, you'll sell your house, save the commission. You don't need me. If I can provide you something, I will. But how are you getting your homes? Are you on an MLS search right now? Are you getting and looking at properties? Do you have a lender? And start providing these resources. And you can do this through LinkedIn, right? This isn't a cold call. They don't know who this random person is. They can actually look. You have your professional photo. You have a great looking cover. You're going through your bios tight. You're in there. You have your work history on everything that you're doing, the charities you're a part of, any accolades. You have the vendors that are going through, they're endorsing. You're like, guys, this is your resume. LinkedIn is your visual virtual resume. And then you can start reaching out to people for business, and then they're able just to check you out right then and there, and they're not guessing anything. You guys, you could also create groups on this. I don't know if anyone realized this, but you can actually go and create like some professional groups. And so, what would it look like to actually go through and put together some kind of marketing group? Maybe it's a B2B group that you're actually running out of LinkedIn, to where you're going through, you're gathering all these professionals, you're putting them together. Maybe it coincides with some other things that you're running outside of LinkedIn, but you're putting this together. Or go find a group to join, right? Go through, go find a group to join that's maybe in the area. Maybe it's like some kind of like Denver residents group, something along that effect. And what would we do if we were to go into that group and just provide value, right? Like, here's the latest market stats. You guys get market stats from DMAR, right? You get them from RE Colorado. What would it look like to package it to where you can drop it off? Like, hey guys, here's the latest information. Here's the latest Fed meeting, right? Compile that, throw it through Chat GPT, clean it up, make it look professional, put it on your outbound, your public facing LinkedIn, but then package it a little bit different to actually drop it off in that group, right? We're just providing value, right? We don't want to wait until we've also closed 50 deals to start speaking, right? Like, here's the thing: you all have validity. Share the tips. Go through and ask questions to people that are in the industry, right? Like, that's okay as well. Like, don't say like, where did you get your first listing? Like, we probably don't want to do that. But we could say, hey, in your market, what are you guys seeing right now? Are you in a buyer's market? Are you in a seller's market, right? We can start building these. We can go out, we can reach out to the photographer and write a comment to them, right? Like, hey, what is the one room that you are seeing has the biggest return on investment when staged? Hey, what is the color that you are seeing on walls right now that is getting the most attention? Hey, what's the color that people should be painting over right now, right? Like, we can ask all these things. And then guess what? Our name is going to be on somebody else's post, and it's going to be in front of their people. And depending on what the questions we're asking and the engagement that we're getting, they're going to click on it and they're going to see our professional digital resume. And then we can go through, right? If we want to go and start their own group, like I said, you'll just have more visibility. You're the author of it, right? You're going to be able to say who gets in, who gets deleted, right? Like, that will be your power if you want to do this. If you want to take it one step further, right? You could do some ads, right? You go LinkedIn Premium. I don't know about you guys. I had LinkedIn Premium for a little bit, but you can actually sponsor content, messages. You can run ads. It also lets you know like who's looking at your profile. Like, it gives you all that information to where you can actually go through and develop some deeper relationships. And so you could do this. I think what's also, when you look at it, it does cost some money. So depending on how you wanted to play this, But I think what's interesting is that you could also go out and really just build it. And after you're going through, what would it look like, right? We all have the ability to use case score. So you have case score. What would it look like to say, hey, I'm hiring, no experience needed. I'll help you with schooling, and put that post out on LinkedIn and just see who wants to participate. And then as people are coming through, you have the original conversation with them. You partner them with Elizabeth. Elizabeth enrolls them into case score, and now you're building your downline and you're helping the people that are in your world get into real estate. Like, that's kind of cool. And you guys have that ability to do it. I look at this and I see that I didn't remove that subtitle section, but here's mine, right? Like, I went through, and again, that's my same photo that I have on everything. It's the same one. There's my same background that I use, and it says to enhance the cover image just because I just screenshot it, right? And it goes through, this is what I was talking about. It says 500 plus connections. I can click on it internally and see how many I have. Nobody else can see who I'm connected with, or how many connections I have outside of the 500 plus. It just reads 500. So, like, after you get your name, your bio, your photo, and your cover photo, then you want to start gamifying this. And like I said, don't go after real estate agents. Who cares? Go after the industry professionals that are in the area, and then build your experience, right? You see, like my latest one, board member for DMAR. And then I went through and I took DMAR's position statement and I asked ChatGPT to help me turn this into a LinkedIn description, right? Then I went through the co-founder and instructor at Denver Real Estate School. I go through and I have Denver Real Estate School in here. The next one is Keller Williams. Keller Williams, it has on here, I'm part of the IALC. It has I'm a real estate agent. It has that I am a realtor team leader. It goes through, it has my past work experience. If you scroll down even further, which you can't scroll on this thing, but it goes through and it tells about volunteer work that I'm doing on another board, right? For CU Colorado Springs, right? I'm on their AI Strategic Alliance Committee. And so I'm on that, and that's there. You go through, you can see the endorsements, right? And so when we're connecting and we're talking to people and building these relationships, this is the stuff that they are seeing about us. And it makes it a little bit easier. We're not cold calling, we're not sending them a random text message. Like, we're actually connecting with people, and we have this built out, and they can see that we are a professional.